or your wife and the kids terrible to look at, boy, have I got the fix for you. Buy one of these things, shine in your eyes. You'll never have to see them again. What's going on, everybody? We're out here in the middle of suburban Houston, Texas, to do a little bit of side-by-side comparison on these 4 lasers you see up here on this super high-speed test bench I made like 30 minutes ago. I know there's a lot of people in the market that want to get one of these lasers, and they would kind of like to see where they fall in the lineup of competitive offerings. I am one of those people. I've never really used any of these models next to each other for any extended period of time and really compared them. So really I wanted to do this for me, and we decided this would be a great topic to do a video on because I don't see content like this anywhere else on the internet. So we're gonna go ahead and turn all these on, compare the lasers, illuminators. We'll talk a little bit about the function of each model, but real quick, what we've got keyed up here on this test bench, we've got the L3 Harris NGAL, Wilcox Raid XE. These are both full power. This is a L3 PEQ-15, also full power, and this is a D-BAL D2. This is a civilian power laser, but it has a LED illuminator. We did a video about the different Steiner offerings and kind of why this one stands out as far as civilian laser offerings. So this should be pretty interesting. These are all very different, but they share a lot of similarities at the same time. All right, so from left to right, again, L3 Harris NGAL, Wilcox Raid XE, full power PEQ, and D-BAL D2. We're gonna start with the NGAL. So this is on the full power laser, full power illuminator mode. Just gonna give a little demonstration of how much adjustment you get with this illuminator. Notice the outside edge of the illuminator and how it's not like a very, I guess, crisp or clean edge. It's not really a problem. This is also apparent on the B.E. Myers Mall, if you're familiar with that laser. I don't have one here today. I'll turn that off. I'm gonna switch over to the Wilcox Raid XE. It's also in full power laser and illuminator mode. I'm gonna dial the illuminator out. That's as far out as it goes, and it focuses down to right there. If you notice, this one has a much crisper edge on that illuminator. The illuminator is very clean. You don't see a lot of the Petri dish like you do on a lot of PEQ-15s. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Leads me to the next laser, full power PEQ-15. So the PEQ-15 also has like a nice crisp edge with the illuminator. But you can see that there are certain spots inside of the illuminator that aren't as well illuminated, if you will. Looks kind of like a Petri dish. Cool thing about the PEQ-15 is it focuses down real tight. It's almost like 2 lasers stacked on top of each other. So that's as far down, as tight as the beam goes. And this is as far, that's as wide as the beam on the illuminator goes. The next laser on the bench is the D-BAL D2. So the D-BAL D2 does not have a an illuminator that can be zeroed like the other 3 we just demonstrated. And to get these kind of all on the same plane, I had to zero the laser on this D2 like all the way up to get them kind of all in a straight line. So you can see how far out that laser designator is out of the center of the illuminator. Not really a big deal under normal use, as typically it's going to be somewhere in the middle when you put it on a rifle, unless there's something wrong with the gun. We're going to start, this is as tight as the D2's beam convergence gets on the illuminator. We're going to go ahead and crank that out and kind of show how wide it gets. It's very impressive for a civilian class laser. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, the aiming laser is not as bright, but we're at probably 50, 60 yards here, maybe a little further, maybe 70. And it's still very easy to pick up. For comparison, I'll go ahead and turn this NGAL on. And you can see the laser, the aiming laser is much brighter. But, I mean, it's kind of up to you. How important is that? If you're not directing fire from aircraft, it's probably not necessary. Cool to have, but definitely not needed. I'll open up that illuminator on the NGAL, and then we'll bring it back down to its smallest size, tightest focus there. Let's compare it side by side. Let's compare the NGAL side by side with the RAID XE. Now, these two lasers are very similar in their size, kind of their function. The buttons and the layout of the user interface is very different. Let's compare the PEQ-15 and the RAID. Go ahead and tighten that illuminator down a little bit and make it more apples to apples. So again, this is a full power PEQ-15 on the right here, and now I'm going to activate the RAID. See if I can't turn this a little bit. There we go. Very similar. The RAID has looks like a cleaner, more concise aiming laser. Cleaner, more concise, excuse me. Looks like the RAID XE has a cleaner, more concise aiming laser. The PEQ-15 looks pretty good, you know, at this range, but you can kind of tell, I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but I can surmise that over longer distances, that beam divergence, that aiming laser on the PEQ-15 is going to be larger. You're going to have a larger aiming area that is created by that aiming laser, just from what I'm seeing through my night vision. Turn the RAID off again. Let's turn this NGAL on and compare it side by side with the PEQ-15. So the NGAL really is the newest version of the PEQ-15, or not really the LA5. It doesn't have as much output, but it's essentially a smaller version of the PEQ-15 with the V-cell laser technology. That's kind of why the edges of the illuminator aren't as crisp, from what I understand. We'll throw the D2 up there again, side by side with the PEQ-15. That LED illuminator is nearly as bright as the full power laser illuminator of the PEQ-15. I think this is the RAID XE here, full power. That one's, the RAID's got a clear power advantage over the D2, but it's not much when we're just discussing the illuminator now. And the NGAL, somewhere in between. I think the RAID XE probably has the best output on the illuminator. The NGAL is probably a close second. I mean they're right there, neck and neck, and then the PEQ-15 is just right behind them. I probably should have addressed this at the beginning of the video, but obviously not everyone can buy full power lasers. We sell all these at Custom Night Vision. These two options in particular have a civilian version that are very similar. The civilian RAID XE is amazing. I wish I had one here to put head to head with these. Currently I don't have any. All I have is the full power, so that's what I grabbed. But if you're in the market for one of these in the civilian power range, don't hesitate. It's awesome. Like, they're worth every penny. The NGAL is not available in any civilian power level. The D2 is only available and the civilian power level. But suffice to say, all awesome options. I can't really tell you which one is better than the other. I personally own 3 of the 4. I don't have a Raid yet. I'm going to buy one because I don't want to say it's the best one because it's like the newest one, but it is really, really good. Yeah, again, it's all going to come down to what you want to achieve with your weapon system, what your long-term goal is for it, and how you're actually going to employ it, and whatever your use case is. If you have any more specific technical questions about any of these lasers we talked about in the video today, don't be afraid to put it in the comments, give us a call, shoot us an email, something like that. Get a hold of us. We'd love to talk about these things. If you're in law enforcement, we are a stocking distributor of the L3 products, be it the NGAL or the full power PEQ-15. We have both of them in stock now. If that's something you're interested in, get in touch with us. We'd love to get you outfitted. As always, we appreciate you watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, and look forward to seeing you again. That was a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing to say. Like, what? Should I redo the whole thing because that was stupid?
The voices.